Hi, everybody. I'm Gloria Moraga. I think I'm live. I see the little button going over here. Uh, yeah. So, hi. Welcome to my channel. This is political news. So, I've got some things that I want to talk about, starting with the video. And I want to take you through something that the New York Times has done on the stills. So let's just watch the video, and I'll try not to yak too much from behind, but I might say a few things. Here's the video. All right. This is the first shot here of our nurse. He's right here. And he appears, he is just there to help, and he's taking photos of the agents and is going to help out two women that are being attacked by ICE Nazis. There he is. And they apparently ordered him to move to the side. There's pushing a woman down, then pepper spraying. So he was heavily pepper sprayed. He does not have his weapon out. He's got his phone only in his hand. And then they yank him down. He's incapacitated, first of all, with the pepper spray. It hits you from even if you're standing far away. Several agents tackle him to the ground. One agent removes his weapon. Nurse Alex's weapon is taken from him. Another agent right there, that agent pulled his weapon, and the agent fired. Okay, there he's gone. And then, look, they disperse and freaking leave. They freaking leave. Well, then apparently a doctor showed up and tried to help, and I'll get into that in a little minute. So what I wanted to do here was go through something that the New York Times has done. And they went through, pulling it up, they went through a timeline. This is a timeline, a moment-by-moment timeline, and I'll make this bigger. And here we go. So timeline, moment-by-moment look at the shooting. And this is the first photo that New York Times is using in the timeline. And it is 45 seconds before the shooting. So you just saw it there a little while ago. This is Alex Pretti right there taking photos. And here's an agent, immigrant Nazi over here. Okay, so he's just there. He's observing. He's trying to help. And this next photo is 25 seconds before the fatal shooting. And you see here that Alex Pretti is only holding his cell phone. And this is the moment when he's trying to help, actually, this woman that's on the ground and this woman in the leather jacket. And he's helping them. And you can see he's got his hand up, his phone in his hand. They know he's got his phone because he was shooting them earlier, videotaping them earlier with his phone. And this is when they get pepper sprayed. So anybody ever been pepper sprayed? You know, haven't been pepper sprayed. I was near a vicinity where pepper spray was used, and it pretty much, it flies through the air and affects you. So if you're getting it right first in your face, you're pretty much incapacitated and can't see. This next photo is 17 seconds before shots fired. And here it's just a shot, a clear shot. And all he has is his phone in his hand. He never drew his weapon, So that's there, 17 seconds before. Meantime, at that 17-second mark, he's surrounded and grabbed by agents. So this is 11 seconds before. He is restrained. He is restrained by multiple agents. You can count them here. 1, 2, 3, 4. There were more than 4 agents there involved in this. He's restrained. He has not pulled a weapon is restrained. He is incapacitated with the pepper spray. And the Times writes right here, Mr. Pretti is surrounded by a group of 7 agents, some of whom have wrestled him to the ground. One of the agents, who wears a gray coat, we'll see him in a second, begins to approach the fray with empty hands and grabs Mr. Pretti while the other agents hold him down, and he's on his knees. At the same time, another agent is repeatedly striking Alex Pretti with a pepper spray canister. And actually, according to witnesses, they're really beating the crap out of him. He's really getting beaten. And this is 1 second before. You see here, right here, it says, if you can read it, I'll make it bigger. Agent unholsters his weapon, the agent's weapon. And then agent appears to remove a gun. So we've seen that. They take Alex Pretti's legal right to carry, right here. Where are you, dudes? Come on, dudes. Speak up. Speak. I hear some second rights amendment folks are speaking up, but now's the time to put your money, to put your power where your freaking mouths are. So the gun's removed, but witnesses are now saying when the gun was removed, that agent screamed repeatedly, "Gun, gun, gun, he has a gun." So maybe that causes confusion. Agent in the gray coat appears to pull a gun near Mr. Pretti's right hip. He begins to move away from the skirmish with the recovered weapon. So Nurse Alex does not have a gun. He never, ever pulled his weapon, you liar, puppy killer. At the same time, another agent unholsters his weapon and points it at Mr. Pretti's back. First shots fired. Here they are. Here it is. And I'll read what the New York Times says. The agent in the gray coat removes the weapon, which matches the profile of a gun DHS says belonged to Mr. Pretti. Now there's some question that maybe the weapon that they showed was not his weapon, that it just looked like his weapon. They pulled it from Google. They pulled it down from, somewhere from their asses. Mr. Pretti, DHS says that gun belonged to Nurse Alex. But he's on his knees. He's restrained. The agent standing directly above him appears to fire 1 shot at Alex Pretti at close range, and then he immediately fires 3 additional shots, and then others started firing. Additional shots fired. 2 agents right here. Look! Fired some shots. He's lying on the ground. He's had been incapacitated for quite some time. So that's the timeline from the New York Times. Here's what else the Times has done. And I'm going to actually look for that information. I don't have it in this. I pulled it and I downloaded it, but I don't have it with me. There were 2 witnesses there. One is a doctor who lives right near there, and she heard the shots fired and she went down. So she has her sworn statement. Maybe I'll put it in another. I'll put it in another. Here's some photos. That I'll get to this in a second and tell you what this is. This video. 2 women have sworn affidavits now because there's been a lawsuit filed against ICE and the Nazi regime. So a doctor has given her deposition, her sworn statement. Okay, not a deposition, sworn statement. And another woman who was in the crowd has given her sworn statement. So I have those. I've downloaded them. the funny thing was when I was looking at them, they're screenshots. They're like page after page after page of stills. So it's not a PDF. So I wasn't able to like download the whole document. But I did record it, and I have that recording, and I can go through those sworn statements for you in the next live shot. I was thinking about going live in a couple of hours and do a horizontal live. I'm doing the vertical lives right now to try to increase some visibility on my channel. I am Gloria Moraga. This is political news. I post every day. If I don't post, I mean, actually, I'm still watching and I'm still documenting. I was watching Roberto. He's a YouTuber who gives advice, and he said, "Don't waste your time posting shorts." But it's like shorts are how I get most of my traffic. So I don't know what he's talking about, but I'm just struggling through, and hope you will like my channel. I do straight political news. And everything is related to politics in my view. Political reporter for 20 plus years, covered a number of people, covered some people who are considered MAGA now, and I actually had pretty great relationships with them, and I really will say I'm kind of shocked at how they're voting now and what they're doing now, but that's a whole nother video. So I did want to get into the budget as you watch this. Here is that's the timeline. Here is what I'll make it smaller so you can see it. Here's what we're hearing from The Hill. The Hill is basically reporting that the second fatal Minneapolis shooting has Congress on the on the verge of a shutdown. So yeah, the budget. And here's what gets me, because I've covered Congress for a long, long time. I've covered budgets. It was one of my areas that I covered. I used to go pick up the budget, that was this big and read it. And I still do read budgets. The budget, because of Mike, MAGA Mike, should have been passed a long time ago. It should have been passed before the start of the fiscal year. But he has never, ever been able to manage the budget. And so now we're still passing spending bills. And there are four big spending bills. And one of the spending bills that's pending that the House passed with the help of a number of Democrats. And, I don't understand. I don't understand what the hell people are thinking to vote for this budget. This is, God, where's that quote? This is the Homeland Security, ICE, $10 billion for ICE, $10 billion just for ICE, That's it. They are hemorrhaging money. They have so much money, ICE. They don't know what to do with it. I'll go back to Now, I want to explain this. These are not live photos, even though this is from the Associated Press on YouTube. They're not live photos because it's dark right now in Minneapolis. This is a compilation of videos, after the shooting of Nurse Alex. So they put this feed together and they're streaming it as if it's live, but it's really not live. And I am looking around and watching to see if something happens there, but it's dark there now and really cold, and the storms are coming in. So I'm thinking that this, these old pictures are the best that we're going to get. So here he is. I'm sorry. Since we're live and since we're, I'm trying to get get people to know me. I used to have as a journalist, I used to have from afar. Okay. I never told anybody this. Okay. This is a secret. I used to have a kind of a crush on Chuck Schumer because he was so smart. Okay. He was so smart. Now all I have is contempt for him. He needs to retire. You can be old. Okay, you can be really old, but still be sharp. You can still be with it, baby. Look, I mean, Barack Obama's getting older. Look, he's got it. Honestly, the dude needs to go. He needs to go. He's playing by some old rules. I don't know what. I hope that you guys are, hearing me okay. And I hope everything's okay. But I'm not looking at YouTube right now. Anyway, back to Chuck Schumer. He's telling all of Democrats right now to stand by. They might all converge on Washington tonight, Sunday night. Like, yeah, that's going to happen. And map out a plan now. All right, dude, you should have had a plan a long time ago. It's a little late now to be having a plan, because there was a second murder on the streets of the United States, and we're like under some sort of horrible dark cloud of Border Patrol agents who don't know how to patrol streets. They're Border Patrol agents. And, watching them in action makes me wonder how horrible they do their job when cameras aren't on. How miserable and how horrible they must treat immigrants at the border. They need to all go. And I'm really for, I really, always encourage everyone, we have to get out the vote. Get rid of these people, get rid of our Congress members, and revamp the whole system. Don't you think the whole system needs to be revamped? I do. Diet Pepsi. I stopped drinking Diet Coke for a while, but I went back. All right. So that's what's going on. House passed the budget bills. They call it an omnibus when it's all the bills together. They call this a minibus because it was just a group of like 4 or 5 bills. So now what Schumer is saying is, let's get together. Here he is. Let's get together. Let's have a plan. And let's pull the ICE budget bill out of the package, out of the minibus package, and pass it separately. So that's an option. That might, and then renegotiate it and put some guardrails into the, I'm trying to speak, like an adult, not like I want to speak. I want to be a screaming lunatic. But put some guardrails in to control the people who are clearly incompetent to patrol our streets. We need a higher quality agent on the ground because, according to Michael Fanone, who I was watching on his show, and I watched him on the Don Lemon show. Yes, I'm that woman. I'm that woman, and I'm proud of it. I love these guys. There's no protocol. I've covered cops as a young reporter in Fresno, California, and believe you me, my friends, as a young reporter in Fresno, California, and I covered cops, there was a lot of crime. And I know cops, and I like cops. I like cops, most of them. The good ones. There's good ones and there's bad ones. In fact, I was in love with a cop once. But I digress. That's a whole other story. We'll get to that story one day. Keith Olbermann does that. Stories I promise not to tell. Me being in love with a cop, that'll be a story I promise not to tell. All right, so we're going to try to pull all the other budgets, the budget funding, pull ICE out of that package. Now the package includes, and I wrote it down, and it's here in one of these articles I pulled. It might be in this one. Let me see if I can find it. This is actually from the Hill, the website. Democrats are now saying they will not support the so-called minibus bill, which I just spoke about that. And here's what there are 5 other departments in that minibus, and they are Department of Defense. Hey, as far as I'm concerned, let's cut some of his funds. How much did it cost us to go into Argentina and capture that dude? And then they put in his vice president. She's now in charge, and she's just as bad as he is. That's what we did. That's why we were bombing boats, to remove the guy and put in the gal who may be just as bad as he is and maybe worse. There was no change there, except somebody, not the United States government, not the taxpayer, not you and me who pay all this money in our taxes. I pay a lot of taxes, man. Somebody has that oil money. They're putting it in some offshore account. So what did we gain from that? And so one of the bills that this funding package would fund is defense. Let's revamp that. Let's see where are you spending this frickin' money, to invade frickin' Greenland? Oh no, he's not doing it now because he tacoed out. Transportation money. So there's bridges that need to be built that we promised to build. Now Trump wanted to cut a lot of that funding, especially for blue states. So we'll see about that. Housing and urban development, they're not doing anything. They're hurting people. People can't afford to get houses. They're cutting. Funny, they're taking land that was, for low-income housing, and they're using it for God knows what. Health and Human Services, I vote we cut them as well. What are they doing? There's a measles outbreak, and they don't know what they're doing. Eat red meat, he says. Eat red meat, the man who swam in filth in Rock Creek Park. I lived in Washington for 10 years. Would I even ever let my family get anywhere near the water in Rock Creek Park? It's raw sewage. Raw freaking sewage. All right. The Labor Department and the Education Department. Trump doesn't care about labor. Trump's trying to cut them. And Education Department, they want to outlaw. And they did try to, and schools all over the country, including MAGA schools, were screaming. And so they put a little halt to it. You notice how you haven't heard much about that lately? Democrats are now saying, this is quoting the Hill, they will not support the so-called minibus as long as the DHS portion is included. Senate Democrats are now expected to have, get this, I love this, Senate Democrats, I'll pretend like I'm a reporter, radio reporter. Senate Democrats are now expected to have an all-members call on Sunday. Oh, it's a call. To figure out the plan forward, one aide told the Hill. They're now on and Sunday night figuring out a plan to move forward on Sunday freaking night. I hate shutdowns, but I can't vote for a bill that includes ICE funding under these circumstances, says Agnes King. And where's Agnes King from? He's from Maine, Stephen King. Stephen King needs to do more. He's my favorite author. He needs to freaking do more. He's huge. He's giant in Maine. He needs to, help. Agnes King is an independent. So he votes his own way, but he is with the Democratic caucus. But he told Face the Nation on Sunday, take up DHS by itself. Let's have an honest negotiation. Put some guardrails on what's going on, some accountability, and that will solve the problem. We don't have to have a shutdown. So here are the people who voted, mamby-pamby voters who were kind of going to vote for the budget. And now they're saying they're not. Senator Dick Durbin, old as dirt. Jackie Rosen, Democrat from Nevada. Catherine Cortez Masco, another turncoat. She's from Nevada. Those two Nevada women, they got to go. Tom Kean from Virginia. But he said on Friday, before the shooting, before the murder on our streets, that he wasn't going to vote for this budget. But they're among the 8 Democrats who voted to end the 43-day government shutdown in November. King was part of that group. So some of these, I don't know, they can't make up their mind who they're going to represent. Not us. They're saying now, we're not going to do it. I got to get off Trump here. I was watching this earlier. This is not a live feed that says it's live. And boy, there's a lot of shooting, canisters and tear gas. It's really out of control. So I wanted to give you an update on what's going on with the budget. Wanted to do this vertical live. I'm just trying this new software. It's Meld Studio, because for the life of me, some of this other software I hate because it's clunky. And I hate just going live from my phone because I like to show video. I would rather have video up than me up. You'll see in some of my, most of my videos, I just post a video. And I got dinged on TikTok for that because TikTok, I don't know, TikTok, whatever. TikTok has changed hands now. So I was going to go and do this again live on TikTok and then maybe do a horizontal live shot later and go through some of these sworn witness statements from women that were on the ground. The doctor's witness statement is fascinating because she lives right there. She heard the shots fired. She ran down to help. She told them, I'm a doctor. They held her away from him. She wanted to check. She asked, does he have a pulse? They didn't know. No one tried to help him. Not one of those agents is trained enough to check for a pulse, trained enough to administer CPR. What is wrong with this, you guys? It's really bad. They wouldn't let her get near him. They kept asking her, where are your medical credentials? Where's your doctor, permit? They were asking her for her medical credentials, and she said, of course I didn't have them. I threw on my coat and my shoes and ran down to try to see if I could help. But they finally let her near him, and she bent down, and some guys bent down. One of the other the Nazi killers bent down and pulled open his coat, and they were out loud talking to each other, counting his gunshots. That's what they were doing. They weren't trying to administer to him or help him or stop the bleeding. They were counting to see how many times they shot him. So she has provided a sworn statement, and I have that, and I will go through that later in a live and just take you through what witnesses are saying there. So I'll be back. I'm Gloria Moraga. This is Political News. Please subscribe to my channel. Please support me. I haven't posted a short since Roberto or one of the YouTube experts said, oh, don't waste your time on shorts. It's like, I will go through and post the video and produce some shorts because nobody knows I'm going live either. So, do I know what I'm doing? No. Am I happy that somebody might be here and gather some information from my my political expertise? I hope so. So please subscribe. Gloria Moraga. I'll be back.